Pandemic Parenting. I am your host, Greg Freeberry, and today we got part 2 of our amazing interview with Morgan Justiss, my good friend and an incredible yoga instructor. Last time, if you didn't see it, the video before, Morgan walked me through some breathing exercises, some real easy, simple breathing exercises that you can do at home, either alone or with your kids, just to kind of de-stress, reconnect with your body, and just feel good and calm. And so if you haven't seen that video, you can go ahead and watch that one from last week. All the breath work's in there. This week is going to be more focused on actual movements, some real basic yoga exercises, some sun salutations, and Morgan makes it super simple, super easy, very accessible. The interview, again, just in case you missed last week, is going to start off with me asking Morgan a few rapid fire questions, as I like to do on the show. So if you already watched last week, you can go ahead and skip the first 6-7 minutes because it's going to be the exact same. But after that, it's all amazing stuff from Morgan. So let's dive right into it. Hello, welcome to Pandemic Parenting. I'm your host, Greg Freeberry, and I'm here with my good friend Morgan Justiss, who is a yoga instructor and energy worker and meditation master and all the good stuff there.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show today, Morgan.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
So I always like to start off just to help everyone get to know you a little bit.
Sure.
And just ask you some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So be ready.
All right, I'm ready.
Let's see. Who's your biggest role model?
My biggest role model. Well, I certainly think it has evolved throughout my life as my focus in life has changed. I would definitely say there is one person in particular that has been sort of a mentor, someone that I've looked up to. Her name is Angela, and she's actually a yoga instructor.
Oh, cool. There you go.
With me at the studio, and she is someone that, as I started my journey into teaching, I really looked up to quite a bit, and someone I always go back to for advice, and someone that the way her teaching affected me, I wanted to be able to provide that same support to students as I started teaching.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know when I take your classes, I feel very supported. So, you learned a lot, I would say.
Okay, all right, awesome. She did good.
Let's see. So what do you say? What do you do to kind of unwind and relax?
Oh, I'm definitely a pretty active person. So outside of doing yoga and fitness, I also really enjoy riding my bike. That's something that became a bigger habit in my life during the pandemic, was actually getting outside. I think that was so important, to get outside and spend time outdoors, get a little sun. So I actually love to ride my bike down the beach path.
Okay.
All the way to Manhattan Beach if I could make it there.
Right. Yeah, Morgan and I both live in LA, so
Yeah, so we
get that nice bike path,
the benefit of the
beach
ocean
and all that good stuff. Amazing.
Yeah.
What's your favorite movie?
Oh, wow. A favorite movie. Well, the one that comes to mind most quickly is Braveheart.
Oh, that's one of my favorites too. Yes.
I just,
all right.
Yeah, I don't know, for some reason I always really, I don't know, just felt so connected to the UK and to Scotland.
Okay.
And I think the combination of both fighting for something you believe in while also fighting for the people you care about always had a huge impact on me, as well as, I will have to say, A Time to Kill. That was such a sort of an altering movie for me as a young actor. The acting in that film and what it stood for, and the fight that was occurring, was also another film. And I always thought Samuel L. Jackson was just such an incredible actor. So
Yeah, he is. He's one of my favorites too.
yeah.
That's cool because like I always kind of thought Braveheart was more like a guy's movie because it's like all war and fighting and all. But that's cool to hear. That,
well, the relationships those characters created, and of course in part to the writing and the directing and the acting, you know, I felt so just connected to those characters and wanted so badly for them to succeed and gain their freedom.
100%. I was the same way. And I'm not even connected to like Scotland quite like you are. Although I do have some Scottish blood in me for sure. Let's see, one more. Let's say, like, what's your like best self-care tip?
Oh gosh, that is also something during the pandemic that has become a bigger priority for me, and I would say, you know, I discovered, actually right before the pandemic, I discovered cryotherapy.
Really? Okay, I've never tried that before.
Yeah, and I have to say, you know, I don't know, maybe it's in my head, but I do feel like my recovery time from working out, if I am doing cryotherapy at least once a week, I feel like my recovery time is faster, so that's something I've made a priority in my life. And then going back to kind of one of my, you know, sort of favorite hobbies or things to unwind is getting outside and going for a bike ride, going for a hike, or even just a walk. Like that is hugely important because while it still involves a way for my body to move, it's not connected to necessarily my line of work or being in one of my work environments. So it allows me to still move, but do something I really enjoy and do something that's for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And we'll talk about this in a moment, but you know, you're also a hot yoga teacher. So you get both the heat and then the cryotherapy. And I've heard both like the hot and the cold really help with recovery in the body. Super
beneficial. There's actually a lot of studies now being done on both sides of that. And especially with hot yoga, they're starting to find, and the research is being conducted, that it also is beneficial for individuals who potentially have experienced or suffered from depression in helping to maintain or support their mental health as well. So
I 100% agree, because the way I met Morgan was I was going through a tough time myself, and I just happened to wander into her hot yoga studio, and then we became surf buds and good friends, and here we are today. So I 100% agree, and it helped me a lot. Now I'm just curious, like I've taken your class and you're one of my favorite yoga teachers, so I know what makes you special, but I'm just curious, what do you think makes you special as a yoga teacher?
Yeah, that can always be difficult to say,
right?
Someone did.
No, this is your chance to pump yourself up, and I know you can. You're humble.
Someone did actually once tell me. Actually, my coworker was like, "No, girl, you're good. Like, talk about why you're good." And I've always sort of been a little more reserved and like, oh yeah, I'm an okay teacher. And I think everyone obviously has the qualities or maybe different components that attract students to them. So I think there are definitely special qualities about each teacher. But that's what's so amazing about being in this environment, is that there's going to be something for everyone. And I think for me, I took sort of from my mentor, the teacher that I really looked up to, and another teacher in the studio as well. They would share something. Angela would share a quote at the end of class, and I always loved, or she would take something she heard on the radio coming to class and bring that into the end of the practice. And I always loved having sort of that cap on the end of the practice, and another teacher would share something that was kind of like, oh, that makes me reflect on what I've been experiencing right now. And I always loved how that sort of combined with the physical aspect of the practice made it more of a well-rounded practice. So for me, I wanted there to be a spiritual aspect without it being like, hey, I'm going to be spiritual and I'm going to put it in your face. And accessibility. I want any student who comes to my class to feel like that is a space for them, that they feel, one, they can come back and do it again, and that they feel safe and held and supported, because it can be so intimidating stepping into a yoga studio or a gym, into any class for the first time. And so I think, and I feel like what's been reflected to me from students as well is that when they are in my class, they feel like, they can do what they need to do for themselves. I give a lot of options, I give a lot of modifications or variations, because one, I always say it's like one shape, doesn't fit all or something. Right. So there are different ways to change that for your body. So I think the combination of taking what some of my teachers did to where I open, as you've experienced, I open with a reading or a quote, and I end with it, so that you have an opportunity to hear it at the beginning and potentially let that be a focus or an intention for your practice. Because sometimes too, and it's like people like, pick your own intention, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, I don't know, what am I supposed to pick? Yeah, so much pressure. Like, here's an offering, you can take it or leave it. You might really simply be showing up for the physical aspect, and then I cap it with that quote again, because now you've just taken this journey, so you have an opportunity to hear that again. Maybe it's now altered or changed slightly, but now you hear it at the end, and you can take it with you into the rest of your day. And I think that, along with the accessibility of the practice, just ensuring that anyone feels like they, no matter where they are in their life, no matter what stage, age, race, potential injuries they may have experienced, that this can be a practice for them as well.
Yeah, I love the quotes myself, and I agree. Like, I think now I'll share.
Yeah, please.
What makes you special is, whenever I go, I do feel like you genuinely care about every single person in that room. Mm-hmm. I know there's a lot of yoga teachers out there that just show up and it's just their job to them. But for Morgan, like, I always did feel held and like really cared for every single class, and that's why I keep coming back.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
So one thing I wanted to touch on there was, if you noticed how Morgan was like almost a little bit hesitant, reserved when I asked her what makes her special as a yoga teacher. It was almost like she didn't want to answer. And that's because Morgan's a very humble person. And, it feels awkward sometimes if you're a humble person to, tout your own abilities and say how awesome you are. But I wanted to point that out because I was the same way. And I used to not honor myself that much. And that's one of the key things that has really changed for me, because I used to use, if I can get a little deep here for a second, I used to use self-hatred to motivate myself. I'd be like, oh, I should be doing better. And, oh, I'm like, a loser. I got to become a winner, and I got to do this and I got to do that. And I would use that as fuel to get things accomplished. Now I've learned a different way, because using self-hatred, it was effective at times, but I didn't really feel good about myself because I talked to myself that way. And now what I do is I make sure to honor myself every single day, even for just a moment, like the smallest of things, like, hey, I made my bed today. I made my bed this morning, or, I brushed my teeth this morning. I worked out. And sometimes I just honor myself for being me. Hey, great job for just being an awesome person, for serving and doing tutoring and like helping kids. That's an awesome profession. So I think when I started doing that more, I learned to love myself way more. And then I was able to come from a place of love and service rather than self-hatred. And the way I started doing things just totally changed. I grew, I became better. And so all that's to say that, like, in your own life, you can honor yourself for these, just anything really, for being awesome, for being yourself, but also maybe you got the kids to school on time and great, or you finished that thing at work you were supposed to do. You beat the deadline, you got it in, and your boss was like, happy that you got it in on time. And it's these small things. And why I was hesitant to honor myself before was because I was like, well, that's just expected. My boss expects me to beat the deadline. The school expects me to get the kids there on time. And so I was like, oh, well, that's nothing special. I'm not going to like congratulate myself on that. It had to be something monumental, like, oh, I got a big promotion. Then I'll finally congratulate myself. But I found it's way, way better. My quality of life is way, way better if I just take those little moments. I actually have them built into my phone, so I get a pop-up at noon every single day. Hey, honor yourself. So then I just take, one moment, like a 1 minute, just to slow down, take some breaths, and be like, what can I honor myself for today? And like I said, it could be the smallest of actions, could be a great accomplishment, or it could just be for being me. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that real quick because I saw, Morgan, she did finally launch into what makes her special, but that initial reaction of like, whoa, okay, I don't want to like pump myself up too much. And I used to feel that way too, because I was like, oh, I'm always taught to be humble and not brag. And of course, I'm not saying you have to go on like social media and shout to the heavens about how great you are, but just in your own space, in your own time, just tell yourself all the things that you've accomplished, what you appreciate about yourself, what you honor about yourself. So that's just a little helpful tip, a quick aside before we start getting into some more stress relieving exercises that Morgan is about to share with us. So let's check that out.
I'm also curious, is there any like yoga type activity with actual movement that parents and kids can do together?
Absolutely. Again, for the purposes of what we're doing today, simplicity. Yeah, so I think I'd like to show you, before we get up and do a little bit of movement, because movement can be very important as well, and not necessarily the movement of like going to work or filling out the spreadsheet, but the movement of the whole body, especially for those of you that are sitting down at desks for large portions of the day. Movement is huge physically for you. One, I think, little kind of fun sort of meditation or visualization exercise that can be fun for parents and kids to do together is placing, and this could be nice for the end of the day. So you've had a full day, kids have been at school, you've been at work. Is this little sort of bubble visualization that allows you to place something potentially negative or uncomfortable that you experienced within your day, sort of in this bubble, letting it sort of float away. So sort of removing that object or experience of stress from your body. Cool. So that's something that can be kind of nice for parents and kids to do together. And parents, you can walk your kids through this yourself, but then also at the end, share with each other what experience it was that you decided to let go of. This is a really nice way to see that it is safe to vocalize maybe something that didn't feel great that you experienced, and that it's helpful and safe to be able to let go of something as well. We hold on to so much, and it's okay to release a little bit. So just kind of nice, simply with that one, you can both just lay down together and then ask your child what their favorite color is. That's always fun. Again, starting to create that visualization and sparking sort of that sense of creativity, what their favorite color is. And then you're going to imagine I'm just going to say my favorite color is green today.
All right.
A green.
You got a green sweatshirt.
Yeah, I'm going with green today. Green bracelet. A big bubble of green just hovering right above your chest. Okay, so it's just you're lying down, and so they can just start to envision like bubbles that you would blow. So just a big bubble right above your chest. So anything that they didn't enjoy about their day, maybe they didn't appreciate the way someone spoke to them at school, maybe they didn't feel great about how they did on a test.
Run into that one a lot.
Yeah, maybe they had a fight with their friend. So it can be a feeling. Maybe it's an experience. Maybe they see that test grade they aren't too proud of. So they're gonna visualize placing whatever it was that was uncomfortable or upsetting about their day into that bubble. And then you're going to imagine that bubble just starting to float away from your chest, taking this object, this feeling, this person away from their body in this bubble. And so if you're inside your house, you can say, just imagine the bubble floating away from your chest, and now it's starting to rise up towards our ceiling, and the bubble goes right through the ceiling, through the roof of the house. It's now floating above the house, and it's getting higher, starting to float up into the blue sky, floating up through the clouds in the sky, and then it floats so high away that you can barely even see the bubble anymore, and then it floats right into outer space. So that takes that thing away from them. So it can give you this sense of release, of letting go. Now, something that you could also do in addition to that, if you want. When that bubble is in outer space, whatever it was that's in that bubble floats out of the bubble and just floats away into outer space. Now imagine something that you really want to bring into your life, and from outer space, that A+ floats right into the bubble. Having, I don't know, an ice cream bar at lunch tomorrow, whatever it is, that thing something they feel excited about, good about. From outer space, it floats right into the bubble. And now the bubble starts to come back down from outer space, back through the clouds, into the sky. It's floating lower. It's floating lower. Now it's coming right through the roof of our house. It's coming through the ceiling, and now it's floating right above your chest. And then that bubble dissolves right into your body. And that thing that you wanted in your life is now inside you. You are filled with happiness, with joy, with the ability to do well on your test, the courage to stand up for yourself now exists within you. And so that can just be a nice, simple, shared visualization and sort of meditation experience for a parent and child to do together, because then also it gives them, once again, an opportunity to feel safe, to maybe share something with you that maybe they would have been scared to tell you about, or they didn't know how to tell you. And it gives you an opportunity to hear a little more clearly about what they may be experiencing in their day. And keep in mind, this doesn't have to be an opportunity for you to try to fix something for them. You don't have to come up with a solution. Simply, again, keep it simple. Just an opportunity for them to understand how to let go, how to integrate, other more positive thoughts or feelings, and also an opportunity for you to share potentially like what it is you're letting go of, to see that, okay, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, whomever it is that you're sharing this experience with, like, there are things too that you want to let go of, and things too that you want to bring into your life. So yeah, it doesn't have to be a moment of like, oh no, my kid had a fight with their friend. Let me like call their parents, see if we can fix this. But just an opportunity for them to separate a little bit from that experience and to share something with you.
Yeah, I think that's a really powerful way for parents to connect with their kids, because I know that a lot of times parents can have difficulty connecting with their kids, and kids can also have difficulty, expressing their emotions. So also a great way for them to practice expressing how they're feeling, and just really build that connection.
And maybe as parents, you didn't realize there was something you also needed to put into a bubble and send it off into outer space too. So that could be really good for you too, to reconnect with learning to let go.
Well, thank you for that.
Yes.
And now I think you have some sun salutations.
Yeah, I think we're going to do a little bit of movement. So we're going to pause.
Yeah.
Move some stuff, and then get moving.
All right. We're ready for some movement.
Okay. So again, going with my theme of simplicity, I'm going to give you two options. So this first one will be for younger kids.
Okay.
Starting with just a little bit of breathing. You ask your child to pick their favorite flower. So give me a flower.
A daisy.
All right. So I've got, what color is your flower?
A white daisy.
A white daisy. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm holding my white daisy in one hand, and then I'm going to hold a candle in the other hand. Okay? So for this one, we're going to smell the daisy, and then we're going to blow out the candle.
Okay.
So simple. Again, creating some visualization for your child, giving them something to stimulate their mind. So let's just do that a couple more times. So smell your flower and blow out your candle. One more time. Oh, the candle relit. Smell the flower, blow it out again. Okay, so we're done with that. So we're gonna replant our daisy in the ground, and then I always like to just throw my candle into outer space. So you can also, if you'd like, recycle your candle. Okay? All right, so this one for kids, I like to ask them what the sun does for us. Mm-hmm. So what do we receive? What benefits do we receive from the sun?
It's light, it's warm,
yes.
It makes everything grow.
Yes, all of those things, right? Helps us grow food, keeps us warm. And then what do we receive from the earth?
Food.
Yeah, food, place to live.
Place to live, yeah.
So there are obviously some very important things that we're receiving from both the sun and the earth. So these are sun salutations. And these are the ones I like to do with the kids. Again, just a way to kind of get your body moving. This one is just super simple. So we reach our hands up to the sky and we say, "Thank you, sun."
Thank you, sun.
And we fold forward over the legs and we say, "Thank you, earth." I like to make sure I'm touching the ground while I do that. Come back up, reach up nice and tall. "Thank you, sun."
Thank you, sun.
And bring the hands right together with the heart. And then I like to add here, "Thank you" to myself. Because we also need to be grateful and appreciative of ourselves as well. So let's just do that a couple more times.
All right.
Reach the arms up. Thank you, sun. Fold all the way forward. Thank you, earth.
Thank you, earth.
And stand all the way back up. Reach up nice and tall. Thank you, sun.
Thank you, sun.
Hands together at your heart. Thank you.
Thank
to myself.
You,
One more time. Reach up. Breathe in. Fold forward. Breathe out. Come all the way back up, reach up tall. Thank you, sun. Breathe out, hands to your heart. Thank you, self.
Thank you, self.
All right, so that's just a really nice, easy little sequence you can go through for younger kids because the attention span may be a little bit shorter. And so just a way for you just to get your body kind of moving and get the blood flowing for that one. Now, if you have slightly older kids, we can actually go through a full sun salutation. Now, I know some of you already practice yoga, probably familiar with what a chaturanga and an up dog is. We're gonna just bypass those two because they can be a little more challenging. If, however, you are familiar with them and at some point want to integrate those options for your kids, teenagers, a little older, that is certainly a possibility. But for now, I'm just going to give you what would be more of a kind of a modified variation of the sun salutation. And this is going to require a little more engagement from your musculature. All right, so then we're really, really kind of waking up the body and engaging more of the muscles through the body than we would say for the option that's for the younger kids in the household. So for this one,
You're going full vinyasa.
Yeah,
I might step out of this one.
Back out.
I might back out on this one. Let you do your thing.
So I'll also, we can just start this with a little bit of breath as well. So it can just be super simple. Hands together at the chest. You can keep your feet either hip width apart. You can also bring your big toes together with a little bit of space between the heels. And then you can just simply take a breath in through the nose and open the mouth, exhale. And then do that again. Breathe in through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale. Now seal your lips. Take the breath in through the nose. Keep your lips sealed and breathe out through the nose. So you start to create kind of what's considered an oceanic sound. I also like to call it sometimes Darth Vader breath. So you can kind of really hear the breath moving in and out. Okay, so now we're going to create that connection to breath and body. All right, so we're going to inhale, reach the arms up. You can still say thank you, sun, if you want. And then exhale, you're going to fold forward over your legs. Now we add a little more in here. So on the breath in, you're going to slide your palms up onto your shins, find a half lift. You really got to pull the navel in, engage your core. All right, and then bend your knees, put your hands down on the ground. You're going to step back into a plank position, making sure you have enough room behind you, obviously. All right, from this plank position, legs are nice and strong. You're pushing the ground away. You're going to lower the knees down, and then just let the chest go all the way down to the ground. Now, with your chest all the way down, press the top of your feet down, and then just a little lift of your chest up. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and lower down. Then go ahead and press up into a tabletop position. And this is where we get to find downward dog. The hips lift up and back. So that's kind of that upside down V position. Okay, look up to the hands, bend your knees, walk your hands forward. Find that half lift again, palms on the shins, and fold. Stand all the way up, reach up nice and tall. And the hands come back to the chest. Now, I will say, for some of the parents that do have younger kids, if you want to take them through that sun salutation of thank you sun, thank you earth, have them step into a down dog, because that is a fairly familiar position to kids sort of across the age spectrum. You can always have them step into downward dog, step forward, and come all the way back up to stand at the top. So that could be one more option for the younger kids in the household. All right, so for our older kids, let's do that full sun salutation one more time, okay? So breathe in, reach the arms up. Breathe out, fold forward over the legs. Take a half lift as you breathe in. As you breathe out, step back into high plank. We're gonna take an inhale here, breathe in. As you breathe out, lower the knees and lower the chest all the way down. Inhale for your half cobra, lift the chest, make your legs really strong, and lower. Press up all fours, hands and knees, tuck your toes, downward dog. Look up to the hands, lift your heels, bend your knees, walk forward. Inhale for that half lift. Exhale, you fold. Stand all the way up as you breathe in. Hands to the heart. Okay? So I encourage you on that as well, especially for the older kids. Take your time with this, okay? Younger kids, it's a little bit more about play, having fun, connecting with your child, and moving. For the older kids, an opportunity to start to deepen the mind-body awareness. So try not to rush through that. Make sure you're breathing fully through that entire sequence. Take your time, and then you can always pause at the end, check in with your kid. How does that feel? Is there anything you're confused about? Let's do some more, because why not? So those are two really just kind of simple, easy sequences that you can use. Of course, there's much more that can be expanded on with that. And at the end, I'll share my Instagram with you. So if there is, something additional you think you'd like to explore, you can always reach out to me, and we can create potentially a longer sequence for you and your child to move through together.
All right, so Morgan shared a few exercises there to really help just get moving, get some blood flowing, but also to connect with the body and the mind, and also connect with sharing emotions. I think that the balloon exercise is fantastic for disassociating from those emotions, because this is something that I used to do all the time, and it's still a practice every single day, is that a lot of times we can get associated with our emotions. We say, I am angry, or I am sad, or even on the other spectrum, I am happy, I am feeling joyous, or whatever. And we become those emotions. So on the negative emotion spectrum, like if I'm saying I am angry, that can become like our whole reality. And so it's tough to get out of that sometimes. So an exercise like the balloon exercise, where you imagine putting like a tough experience or an emotion or a person in that bubble and then sending it away from your body, actually can lower the amount of that emotion that you're feeling in the moment, which is really powerful. And then also calling in something positive from outer space and bringing it into yourself can really actually make you feel better, which is really cool, because it's just like a thought exercise, a visualization. And moreover, it's a great way for kids just to start learning how to express themselves better. A lot of kids have, they know angry, sad, happy. They know like 7 emotion words, but there's such a beautiful nuance and range to our emotions. So you can use that exercise to help them develop ways to express how they feel. And the more ways they're able to express how they feel, that better they'll be able to disassociate from them and manage them. So that's a really fantastic exercise. And then we got to do a little yoga, some sun salutations, and another great way just to like real easy connect with your kids. I actually do this with my students every once in a while, just as like a little break. If I feel like they're like getting low energy and maybe the math is wearing them down, I'm like, hey, all right, yoga stretch break. We'll jump up, we'll do some sun salutations. Takes like 2-3 minutes. And then they usually love it. And then they're like stretched out, they feel good, they're ready to go, and they're ready to hop back in and do some more math. So those are all incredible exercises that you can do with your kids, or you can even do them solo to help connect with yourself, slow down, and be mindful. So the final part of the interview coming up is Morgan is going to share some actual resources where you can explore further if you like, if you found this information very helpful, and she'll share what the benefits of everything that she's talked about is, and also where you can find her. So stay tuned if you want to learn more from Morgan.
All right, we learned a lot about slowing down, reconnecting with the body, using our breath to do that, ways to use connection to, meet our kids where they're at and all that. I'm just wondering, do you have any just like additional resources for parents, maybe something online or apps or books or something that they might be able to use to go deeper into this?
Well, if you're looking maybe for some online resources for yourself, yogainternational.com is a great website. They have a lot of different styles and types of yoga practices and meditation. They also have like educational material around the health of the body. So I always find that a nice place to turn to. A book in particular that I've really enjoyed reading and has sort of further expanded my ability to connect with children is called The Awakened Family by Dr. Shefali Sabari. And I think it's a really, it can be a helpful way to potentially find some alternative methods in connecting with your kids. Little less based on yoga, breath, and meditation, but just more like some more tools for how to sort of understand and, as you said, meet them where they are. Meditations from the Mat by Rolf Gates is a book in particular where a lot of my quotations, my readings have come from. And that's actually based on the 8-limb path of yoga. And I actually, they actually so kindly donated like over 20 books when I was working with the kids at school to pass along to them. I think that one can be nice. You can find some quotes in there to, potentially share with your kid, to share something together, but also really great readings, I think, for adults as well. And then I'm trying to think if there are any more that you should know. I'm definitely going to give you a few specific links to share here after that are going to have more information about meditation, why it's helpful, and some of the breath work as well for you.
All right. And I'll put all those in the description. All the links
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And thank you for coming on, sharing all your great expert knowledge. If anybody wants to learn more about you or contact you, how can they reach you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, the easiest way to get in touch with me is just through my Instagram. It's at Yoga _Justiss, JUSTISS. And you can connect with me there. I am happy to, further expand on sort of any of the breathing techniques or exercises that we did today. I also work with both adults and kids, all the way from like 5 up to, in their teens and high school. So any opportunity you would like to explore, maybe a yoga practice together, you can do yoga and meditation together, or if just for the parents, if you simply find that you do not have the time to get to a yoga studio, which I know it is very time consuming, potentially integrating an at-home practice for yourself as well. So yeah, at Yoga _Justiss.
And I highly recommend Morgan. She's my favorite yoga teacher. I go to her classes on Sunday mornings in the park by the ocean.
Oh yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah, we have a little I do a class out at the beach, so if that's something you're ever interested in. It's not in the sand, it's in the grass.
Yeah, it's in the grass.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it seems like only fitting, since you end your classes with a quote. Maybe you have another quote you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, this is
the interview.
Yes. This is this has always been one of my favorite quotes. It does actually so happen to be from Rolf Gates' Meditation from the Mat. And I think this just sort of embodies how we can view so many things in life. The good things and the bad things, right? Because nothing is permanent, nothing lasts forever. And that's not to say that like good things don't last forever, but like, those moments of joy that we experience, that's that moment. So really enjoy and be grateful for it. Because we transition to something else, something different, something new potentially. So this one for me was always so powerful. We show up, burn brightly, live passionately, hold nothing back. And when the moment is over, when our work is done, we step back and let go. So with whatever you encounter, show up fully. Be present. Be invested, because that moment, that's the only moment you get to experience what it is you are doing. And sometimes it's not easy, and those are the moments where we get to learn and grow. But be fully present for it, and then just know, because the evolution, the growth, the transition happens, you can step back and let go.
That's beautiful. Morgan, thank you so much for coming on Pandemic Parenting.
Thank you.
You've been wonderful.
So happy to be here, and so happy to share and hopefully help support and encourage parents, children during this time.
Well, hopefully we'll get to see you again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been great.
Thank you.
So Morgan shared some amazing resources, and of course I will post links to everything in the description. I think the big takeaway today is really just slowing down, reconnecting with yourself, with your family, and with how you're feeling. I think in this day and age, we're taught typically to repress our feelings, either through, binging on Netflix, or like vegging out on the couch, overeating, indulging ourselves in all these ways because we feel uncomfortable, and we don't want to feel uncomfortable. So we try and get that sugar high, or that just zombie out in front of a television or something like that. But at least in my experience, when I actually confront those uncomfortable feelings and I build a connection with them and a relationship with them rather than running away from them, then my quality of life increases dramatically. So just even right now, like, I do this exercise sometimes. So just how are you feeling right in this moment right now? Because all we have is this present moment. And that's something that Morgan shared at the very end in her quote, right? We only really have this present moment. The future and past are illusions in a lot of ways. So how are you feeling right now? Like, feel your back against the chair or the couch, or your feet on the ground, or whatever you're doing. Notice if there's tension in your shoulders, or if there's tension in your back or neck. I know that when I stop, I'm like, man, do I have tension in my shoulders? Yeah, there's a little bit of tension in my shoulders. And I carry that around all day sometimes, not even realizing it, because it's always like, I got to go do this and I got to go do that. And there's a ton of things to do, and I can feel overwhelmed because I got to work and I got to take care of this chore and that chore. And you may be feeling that way too. And sometimes it feels like this pandemic has even exacerbated that, where we're even busier than before. Or it's given us more opportunity to feel, and we just have to take advantage of that. So I highly encourage you to take advantage of yoga if you can. But if not, it's just important to just be mindful. And just get out and walk around maybe. Everyone can at least do that. And that's so important, because sitting all day, it is terrible for your body. It's terrible for your mind, I think, and for your health in general. So be active with your kids, with your family, and you can help each other grow together. So, per usual, if you have any questions or comments that you'd like me to answer, please send me an email. I love hearing from everyone. I'm always looking for more ideas and for more guests on the show. So hit me up at greg@think&evolve.academy. And also, if you haven't been to my website, I also have an entire blog on my website at Think and Evolve, geared more towards academics, but also this kind of emotional side of things, because I believe that in any endeavor, including academics, it's 80% emotional and 20% knowing the skill, right? Because us humans are so driven by our emotions. So there's a lot of good content on there on for your kids to get better grades in school, how to manage their emotions better, and be their true authentic selves. And that's my adult life has mostly been about trying to find my true authentic self and expressing that. And now I'm trying to share all that information that I've learned with all of you. So again, love to hear from you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Greg Freeberry, and until next time, we will see you again on Pandemic Parenting. Take it easy.